Academy Award-winning filmmaker Michael Moore is known for his controversial and provocative movies. His latest movie is Capitalism, a love story, a scathing critique of Wall Street, corporate America, Congress, and even the Obama administration.
Everything was being handled by the Treasury Secretary from Goldman Sachs. They had Congress right where they wanted them. This was almost like an intelligence operation.
This is straight up capitalism. Boom.
Where's our money?
I don't know.
Michael Moore is also an advocate, of course, for health care reform in this country. He joins us tonight from Boston. Michael, good to have you with us. The movie opening in limited release is doing very well, about twice what Bowling for Columbine did. And the reviews, you've got to be gratified. They're very strong. A couple of exceptions, but overall, very strong reviews. Are you going to, do you believe, as the movie goes into what, wider release Friday, you think you're going to see considerable success with this movie?
Well, I hope so. I made this film for millions of Americans to be able to go to the theater on a Friday night and have a good laugh at the expense of all the people on Wall Street who've made their lives that much more difficult in the last year or so.
You also take aim at, amongst others, Treasury Secretary Geithner. Some would consider him to be, as Treasury Secretary, a key Obama appointee. Let's just listen in here.
Geithner has been a failure at pretty much everything he's done in life. Most of the institutions that destroyed the economy were under his direct regulatory authority.
How do you get the job as Treasury Secretary?
By completely screwing up his job as president of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York.
A lot of people, Michael, are going to be shocked to see you criticizing Democratic appointees of a Democratic president.
Well, of course, that wasn't me criticizing him. That was William Black, who was one of the bank regulators back in the 80s, who broke the savings and loan scandal wide open. And I go to him for his assessment of this particular scandal, this crash of the last year. And I think that at least I have the attitude that President Obama, who I support very much, has brought Geithner and Summers in the same way that the big banks bring in bank robbers to advise them, former bank robbers, on how best to prevent bank robberies. Who better to know how to do that? And I think that President Obama figures, well, who better to help clean up this mess than a couple of the guys who helped to create it when regulations were being tossed right and left.
What is your outlook for capitalism? You love it so much.
I don't. Well, what we call capitalism these days, it's essentially imploded on itself, and now it's become this sort of it's become a system that protects the wealthy. It legalizes greed. It's not at all the way, Lou, that the way it was when I was growing up or you were growing up, where you work hard, you do well, you can earn money, you want to open a store, sell shoes, it's all there for you. It's America. That's not the case anymore. It's a pyramid scheme now, where the richest 1% who live on top of that pyramid do very, very well and own most of what is below the pyramid, but they get everybody working in the bottom parts of the pyramid thinking, geez, if they just work hard enough, they can get to the top of the pyramid too. But of course, you can only put so many people on the point of a pyramid.
So what about, you're in that 1%, aren't you? I would confess that I'm near it, if not in it. Guys like you and me, we've done pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I'm a documentary filmmaker,
right?
So with that, taking that into context, yes, I do probably better than any documentary filmmaker, and I'm blessed and I feel privileged, and it actually makes it puts a greater burden on me to then
Right.
do well for others and to stand up for those who don't have what I have.
Absolutely. And capitalism itself, though, the issue of the day is, from the right, the charges of socialism, from the left, the demands for what many look to be a greater government intrusion in life. Which balance do you think we'll find? One nearer the left or one nearer the right?
The balance I hope that we find, Lou, is one that's based in two very strong traditional American principles. The first one being democracy. We need an economic order that you and I and everybody else have a say in, not just the wealthiest people at the top. We need a democratic economic system. But the second principle is, we call this a Judeo-Christian country. Even though it's a secular country, we claim to have these ethics that are rooted in Judaism, Christianity, also it's in Islam, it's in Buddhism. Most of the great religions say the same thing about how we're to treat the poor, how the rich man is not supposed to get away with everything, and we haven't really been behaving like that. We rarely ask the question when it comes to business, is this good for the people? Is this for the common good? Or is it just good for somebody's bottom line? I would love for whatever we come up with to pull ourselves out of this mess, to start asking these basic moral questions that are rooted in some very fundamental of American values.
Yeah, I think that's a noble aspiration and desire, and I think millions upon millions of Americans agree with you. The difficulty here, of course, right now, is you document in a love story, if you will, on capitalism, is that excesses, we reach extremes historically. Every certainly 25 years in this country, we've reached one extreme now. And the challenge will be to see whether or not we can avoid overshooting on the other side. But fundamentally, Michael Moore believes in free enterprise democracy, a democratic republic, and capitalism. Is that right?
Of course, I believe in people's freedom to choose. See, this is the thing, Lou. This is so odd that I'm the one saying this when the people who all these years have claimed they believe in free enterprise, free market, they don't believe in anything of the sort. They believe in actually merging with the competition, buying it out, killing it. Their nirvana is if they would end up perhaps being the only shoe store or the only car company. They actually like the old Soviet model where you don't have any choice, where there's just a few people that own everything and control everything. And yet they run around calling it free enterprise when it's not that at all.
All right. Well, the movie is doing well. We wish you luck with it. A provocative movie, and it is a timely movie. We all need to be thinking about the choices that are in front of us.
And it's a comedy.
And we'll laugh all the way, and I know you're going to laugh all the way to the bank. In a form of capitalism.
Well, let's hope so, Lou.
There you go, Michael. Michael Moore, thanks for being with us.